In December 1900, 3 experienced men disappeared from an isolated lighthouse in Scotland. When the rescue team arrived weeks later, they found the dinner table set with food still on the plates, but no sign of the keepers. What happened on that desolate island has never been explained, and the evidence they left behind makes the mystery even more terrifying. The Flannan Isles, located 20 miles off the western coast of Scotland in the Outer Hebrides, are among the most isolated and inhospitable places on Earth. These barren rocky islands are battered by relentless Atlantic storms, with waves that can reach heights of over 30 feet during winter months. For centuries, these treacherous waters claimed countless ships. So in 1899, after years of planning and construction, the Northern Lighthouse Board completed one of the most remote lighthouses ever built, perched on the largest of the Flannan Isles, 70 meters above the violent seas below. The lighthouse was a marvel of Victorian engineering. Its light could be seen for 24 nautical miles in clear weather. The tower stood 75 feet tall, with walls 4 feet thick to withstand the brutal North Atlantic gales. 3 lighthouse keepers were assigned to operate this vital beacon. James Ducat, age 43, the principal keeper. Thomas Marshall, 40 years old, the first assistant. And Donald MacArthur, the occasional keeper who filled in during rotations. These weren't inexperienced men. Between them, they had over 50 years of lighthouse duty. They had survived storms, isolation, and the psychological challenges of months spent in remote locations. But on December 26, 1900, something happened that no amount of experience could have prepared them for. Life in a Victorian lighthouse was governed by strict routine and protocol. The keepers worked in shifts, with 2 men always on duty while the third rested or maintained the living quarters. James Ducat, the principal keeper, was known throughout the lighthouse service for his obsessive precision. His logbooks were impeccable, every weather observation recorded to the minute, every maintenance task documented in perfect penmanship. Men who had served with Ducat described him as incapable of making a mistake or breaking protocol. Thomas Marshall was equally experienced, a family man with 4 children waiting for him on the mainland. He had served in remote lighthouses for over 15 years and knew every safety procedure by heart. Donald MacArthur, though younger, had 12 years of experience. He was known for his physical strength, essential for the heavy maintenance work required on these isolated stations. Their daily routine was grueling but predictable. Wake before dawn. Extinguish the main light. Clean the massive glass lenses, a task that took hours and required meticulous care. Check all mechanical systems. Record weather observations every few hours. Prepare simple meals. And at dusk, light the great lamp once more, ensuring it burned through the night to guide ships safely past the deadly rocks. On December 15, 1900, the steamship Hesperus passed the Flannan Isles on its regular route. The captain noticed something unusual. The lighthouse was completely dark. No beams swept across the black waters. This was highly irregular. Lighthouse keepers took their duty with deadly seriousness. A dark lighthouse meant ships at risk, lives in danger. But the captain assumed it must be a temporary mechanical failure. Perhaps they were performing repairs. 5 days later, on December 20th, another vessel, the Archtor, reported the exact same thing. The Flannan Isles lighthouse remained dark. Now, alarm bells were ringing at the Northern Lighthouse Board headquarters. 2 weeks without a light? Something was very wrong. But December in the North Atlantic is brutal. Violent storms with winds exceeding 70 miles per hour made any approach to the island suicidal. Waves crashed against the cliffs with such force that the entire island shook. The relief vessel couldn't get near. All they could do was wait for the weather to break, and hope that the 3 men were safe. On December 26th, Boxing Day, the weather finally calmed enough for the relief vessel Hesperus to attempt a landing. Captain Joseph Moore, a 30-year veteran of the sea, led the shore party. Moore had delivered supplies to dozens of lighthouses. He knew what to expect. But as the small boat approached the landing platform, Moore noticed the first sign that something was terribly wrong. Normally, when a supply ship arrived, the keepers would be waiting at the dock, waving, shouting greetings. The arrival of the relief vessel was the most exciting event of their month. bringing letters from home, fresh food, news from the mainland. But the landing platform was completely deserted. Moore fired flares into the air. The ship's horn blasted repeatedly. He and his men shouted the names of the three keepers, their voices echoing off the cliffs. Nothing. Only the cry of seagulls and the crash of waves answered them. The team began the steep climb up the narrow path carved into the rock face. It was 150 meters of rough, slippery stone steps. Moore's sense of unease grew with every step. The silence was unnatural. Wrong. When they reached the lighthouse entrance, Moore's blood ran cold. The heavy wooden door was closed, locked from the inside. He pounded on the door, called out again and again. Silence. Finally, they forced it open. The interior of the lighthouse was in perfect order. Everything was clean, organized, maintained exactly as regulations required. The oil lamps were filled and ready. Supplies were neatly stored. The beds in the sleeping quarters were made with military precision. But there was no sign of life. No sign of the three men. Moore and his team searched every room, climbing the spiral iron staircase that wound up through the tower. The lamp room at the top was immaculate. The great lens gleamed. The mechanism was in perfect working order. It simply hadn't been lit. And then Moore entered the kitchen and dining area. What he saw stopped him in his tracks. The scene would haunt him for the rest of his life. The table was set for a meal. 3 plates with cold meat and potatoes sat in their places. Knives and forks lay beside each plate, as if the men had been about to eat. A kettle sat on the stove, long since gone cold. But one of the 3 chairs was violently overturned, lying on its side on the stone floor. The meal had been interrupted. Suddenly, urgently. The men had stood up from this table and, what? Ran? Where? Moore noticed another chilling detail. Every clock in the lighthouse had stopped. The wall clock in the kitchen. The pocket watches belonging to the keepers found in their quarters. All stopped at different times, but all on the same night, December 15th. The day the Hesperus first reported the lighthouse dark. Moore's hands trembled as he picked up the official logbook. This leather-bound journal was the official record of everything that happened at the lighthouse. It was a legal document, inspected regularly by the Northern Lighthouse Board. James Ducat's handwriting filled the pages with his characteristic precision. Weather observations, temperatures, wind direction and speed, maintenance tasks completed. Everything documented in meticulous detail. Until December 12th. The entry for December 12th, written at 9 in the morning, read, "Severe storm. Wind like I have never experienced in my 20 years of service. Waves of unprecedented height crashing against the landing platform. Ducat has gone very quiet. MacArthur has been crying. We said prayers for our safety." The handwriting was less steady than usual, as if written by a shaking hand. December 13th, noon. Storm continues with unabated fury. I have never seen anything like this. Ducat still will not speak. MacArthur continues to cry. Both men seem deeply shaken by something I cannot understand. December 15th, 1 in the afternoon. Storm finally ended. See calm now. God is over all. And then, nothing. No more entries. The logbook simply stopped. But here's what made seasoned investigators' blood run cold. Captain Moore obtained the official meteorological records from that period. Weather stations on the mainland, observations from other ships in the area, data from nearby lighthouses. None of them, not a single one, recorded any severe storms between December 12th and December 15th. The weather during those days was described as moderate to calm. Some rain. Normal winter conditions. Nothing exceptional. Certainly nothing that would justify descriptions like unprecedented, fury I have never witnessed, or waves high enough to threaten a platform 70 meters above sea level. So what were the 3 experienced lighthouse keepers seeing? What storm were they recording in the official logbook? A legal document they would never falsify. Moore made another discovery that deepened the mystery. On the coat hooks near the door hung only one waterproof coat, MacArthur's. The heavy oilskin coats belonging to Ducat and Marshall were missing. This meant 2 men had gone outside wearing their weather protection. But MacArthur, the third man, had gone out without his coat. In December, on a Scottish island, where temperatures regularly dropped below freezing and winds could kill an unprotected man in minutes. Why would an experienced keeper violate every safety protocol and go outside without protection? Unless he was in such desperate panic that he didn't think, he just ran. The team descended to inspect the landing platform where the supply boats docked. What they found defied explanation. The landing area, remember this is 70 meters above sea level, the height of a 20-story building, showed signs of catastrophic damage. Heavy iron railings designed to withstand the worst Atlantic storms were twisted and bent. A toolbox weighing over 100 pounds had been torn from its anchored position and hurled dozens of feet. Rock face showed scour marks as if scraped by something with immense force. For this kind of damage to occur at that height, a wave would need to reach over 70 meters. Oceanographers were consulted. They stated unequivocally, waves of that height simply do not occur in the North Atlantic. The maximum recorded wave height in that region, even during the most severe storms, was 45 meters. And that was miles out to sea, not near land where waves break and lose energy. Yet the damage was there. Undeniable. Impossible to explain. The official investigation lasted 3 months. The Northern Lighthouse Board brought in experts in meteorology, oceanography, psychology, and maritime safety. Every piece of evidence was examined. Every theory was considered. Their conclusion, published in March 1901, stated that the 3 keepers had likely been swept away by an exceptionally large wave, while performing maintenance work at the landing area during the storm they described in the logbook. But this official explanation satisfies almost no one who examines the actual evidence. It raises far more questions than it answers. Question 1. Why did the keepers record severe storms that no other weather station detected? Were 3 experienced men all suffering from the same hallucination? Question 2. If it was just a large wave, why was MacArthur crying? These were hardened men who had weathered countless storms. What could terrify them so badly? Question 3. Why did the storm supposedly last for 3 full days when weather records show calm conditions? Question 4. How did MacArthur end up outside without his coat? If they were doing planned maintenance, why wouldn't he dress properly? Question 5. Why were all the clocks stopped? And question 6, perhaps the most troubling, what happened to the bodies? When people are swept into the sea near land, bodies or clothing usually wash ashore eventually. Nothing from the 3 keepers was ever recovered. Not a scrap of cloth. Not a single personal item. Nothing. The Flannan Isles Lighthouse continued operating with different crews for 70 more years. But many keepers requested transfers away from the station. They reported feeling watched, hearing voices in the wind calling names, seeing shadows move where no shadows should be. In 1971, the lighthouse was finally automated. No human has been permanently stationed there since. Today it runs on solar power and automated systems, maintained by occasional visits from technicians who never stay overnight. The 3 men, James Ducat, Thomas Marshall, and Donald MacArthur, were never found. Their bodies were never recovered. No trace of them has ever surfaced in over a century. And to this day, fishermen and sailors who pass the Flannan Isles after dark report strange phenomena. 3 figures seen standing near the lighthouse, waving frantically at passing ships. Voices calling for help during storms. Lights moving in the tower when the lighthouse is dark and empty. Local sailors avoid the waters around the Flannan Isles, calling them cursed. They say the 3 keepers are still there, trapped in some kind of eternal loop, reliving their final terrifying moments forever. In 2000, on the 100th anniversary of the disappearance, a memorial plaque was erected to honor the 3 men. Their descendants, now scattered across Scotland and beyond, gathered to remember them. But no answers came. No closure. The mystery of the Flannan Isles remains one of the most baffling maritime cases in history. 3 experienced men, in a secure lighthouse with ample supplies, vanished without a trace, leaving behind only questions and impossible evidence. They saw something in those December days. Something that terrified them so badly that one man wept. Something that made them abandon a meal and run into deadly conditions. something that caused them to record storms that didn't exist. What was it? We will never know. The Flannan Isles keep their secrets. The lighthouse stands silent. The Atlantic waves still crash against those lonely rocks. And somewhere in the mist and spray, three figures still wave desperately at ships that can never save them.